Just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much experience do you have?
Total is like 5.5.
Means 5 years, 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your last working day or any notice period you
My
have?
last working day is 20th of July.
20 July.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So we can start the interview now.
Okay.
So can we override private or static methods
Can you overwrite private?
or static methods in Java?
You cannot override static method in Java.
What about private?
Private, it is actually not visible.
Huh?
It is actually not visible if you are making that as private.
Okay. So can we override it or not?
No, we cannot override.
Okay. So what is the difference between hash map and hash table?
Now, hash map is basically uh, it's a key value pair thing.
Hmm.
Means you put the value as key value pair, and it actually stores in a 16 bucket node. It actually
Hmm.
calculates the hash code and as well as the equals method to put the values in that hash in that
What is the difference between these two, hash map and hash table? Just tell me the difference.
hash table.
Okay. So what is singleton class in Java?
Yeah, singleton class is basically like whenever you have in the runtime you can get only one instance of that class. That is the like singleton class.
Okay. So how can we create our singleton class?
Yeah, for creating one singleton class, you need to basically create the singleton class in such a way. You need to have like a private constructor so that no one can
Hmm.
using the new keyword, no one can create one instance of that class. You can have like only one public static get instance method where you should check about that the instance is null or not. If it's null, then only we are actually creating with the new operator and sending back the instance. Otherwise, we will actually
Okay.
send the uh,
So can we make our singleton class set safe?
yes.
How?
So in the thread in the multi-threaded environment, we can actually get like two different object of the singleton class. So in that case, we need to check twice. In the means we need to check twice for the null check. Basically, first null check we need to check, and in another process we need to have like in the synchronized block we need to check that is null or not. So in that way we can actually minimize that
What is the
effort.
second point that you told? Actually,
The second point is basically we need to have like in the synchronized block so that one thread can actually comes in
so
one
where
at a
to
time.
have this synchronized block?
You can make the synchronized method that get
Okay.
method. We can actually have like one synchronized method on it.
Mhm. So there is an expression 1.0 divided by 0.0. Can you tell me what it will return?
1.0, sorry,
Divided by 0.0.
1.0.
What will it return?
It will actually return that arithmetic exception divide by 0.
Okay. Uh, so does two objects will always be equal when they are compared to method return zero?
Sorry, actually, I don't understand.
Okay. So the question is, does two objects will always be equal when they are compared to method return zero?
Um,
There is a compare to method, right?
yes,
In
yes, yes,
compare,
yes.
yes. If it returns zero, will the objects will always be equal? Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so don't worry. What is immutable class?
Immutable class is basically that class is like final. you don't have you don't create one subclass of the immutable class, and also the means all the variables in that it will always be like private final, so that once it is
So how to
initialized.
create a custom immutable class?
So in that case, you need to have like the class. You need to define that class as final,
Hmm.
and also like all the data members should be like in private final, and also you
Okay.
have like private constructors.
Private constructor. Okay.
Yeah.
But if there is a private constructor, how do we call this one? There will always be one object, but string can contain many objects.
Uh, yeah. So yeah. Right. Uh, Not like the private constructor thing, but you can have like the final one, so that one cannot actually create one
Okay.
subclass of
Apart
that
from
class.
these, anything that we need to consider?
Mm.
Okay. So, I'll give you a logical question, right? I'll give you a code. You just tell me the approach you will take to solve that one. Okay.
Okay.
So there is a input string that is A, B, B, C, C. So the output should be A2, B2, C2, right?
Okay. Okay.
So for example, if the string is A, B, B, C, C, so the output would be A3 because A is occurring 3 times, B2 because B is occurring 2 times, and C2, right?
Okay.
So what will be your approach to solve this one?
Okay. So first of all, we need to have like that is a string. So we need to create one character array from that. So
Yes.
you need to have like string dot two char array. I think two char array is a function that we have to call. Then we will get the character array, and from that we can actually uh, means from that we can actually do like stream operators using, and we can do such
No,
like
don't
grouping
tell me
by.
the functions that you will use. Just tell me the approach you will take. What is the flow of code you will write? Means these are the means you are. Just tell me you will convert it to array. Don't tell me how you will do it. Understand,
Okay.
right? Don't
Okay.
tell me that you will use that function that to char array. Just tell me that you will convert it to array, and then
Okay. Okay.
afterwards what you will do.
Okay. First of all, I need to convert it that to a char array, and
Hmm.
after that, to using like stream operators, we can actually using like grouping by. We can get that count of A, that is like count of 3, and B of count of 2. We can actually process that with the array.
Hmm. How to process that? Will you run a loop to do that?
If we have like one list, we can directly use like stream operators to get the functionality with the grouping by.
Hmm.
Directly we can actually have means after we do like collectors dot to map,
Hmm.
so that is actually return a grouping by actually returns a map, which is actually stores like the key value pair when the key is basically the A, and value is
Hmm.
basically the 3. We can
So
actually
which
directly
map would you use for this one?
normal like means which map, sorry.
There are many maps, right? There is
Only
hash
hash
map.
map. Yeah, hash
Okay,
map.
you will use a hash map for this.
Yeah.
So you will. Okay, got it. So how will you implement your own hash map in Java? This is another question, right? So
Okay.
that's one you have answered. So this is another one. How will you implement your own hash map in Java? And how will you handle the collision of keys?
Okay. So let's say means you mean to say like if I have like one object, and that object I need to put as a key in the hash map. You want to?
Yes.
Okay.
And yes. Means
Okay.
you need to implement your own. You means just tell me the working of the hash map. That's it.
Okay. So basically, how the hash map actually works. So hash map actually, whenever you put means whenever you initialize that hash map, it actually first it takes like 16 bucket node. That 0 to 15 is the like hash map size basically, And after that, when you put some value as a key value pair, so first of all, it actually takes out that key and checks the hash code. Okay, and after that, it actually means takes one actually node by I think mod by the capacity, hash code mod by the capacity. It actually returns you
Okay.
one node where it actually checks with the hash code.
What
Means
is collision in HashMap?
the hash collision is basically if the hash code is similar, if already in that node some value is present, and you also like whenever you're putting some another value, the hash code is equals.
Okay.
That is the hash collision we actually got. Then we actually check for the equals method to check the key of that is equal or not. If equal,
Okay.
then we actually override the value. Otherwise, we will create a new node just beside that and connected with the linked list basically. Next
Okay.
point.
What is executor service?
Hmm. Executor service.
Yeah.
Um, Executor service, you mean to say
In
like
multi-threading. Yes.
multi-threading? Yeah, the computable future actually we have used computable future. So
Okay.
what it actually do means it means whenever there is like in our application, what we actually do means we call different services. From one service we call different service. So if that is not like dependent on one to another, we actually call through the computable future, and after that we will actually just join that to computable future and returns back the result.
Okay.
So
Okay. So what is thread deadlock?
deadlock.
Hmm.
Yeah, deadlock is basically like let's say you have like two thread and two thread are simultaneously executing some two resources, but they actually need to means complete their execution of those resource means those. Let's say thread 1 is acquiring of A object and thread 2 is acquiring B object, but thread 1 actually needs the B object also to complete the execution, but that is like acquired by thread 2. Thread 2 also requires
Okay.
like the
How
A
to
object.
prevent deadlock?
Mainly like using like good coding practice actually does the job. Otherwise, you can actually use like synchronized block of
Yes.
to
In
execute.
good coding practice, what do you mean by this? Means how do we prevent deadlock? It's a
Mainly we actually use like locking features so that one cannot actually means two thread cannot execute at the same time, and
okay.
also like using like synchronized block as well so that one thread actually
Yes.
comes goes in one
Okay.
at a time.
Uh, so if a method throws null pointer exception in the
Yeah.
superclass, so here this question out. If a method throws null pointer exception in the superclass, can we override it with the method which throws runtime exception?
Superclass
There
exception.
is a method in superclass which is throwing null pointer exception.
Okay.
Okay, and in our subclass, we are overriding it with a method which is throwing runtime exception. Can we do that? Can we override null pointer with runtime exception?
I don't think so because runtime is the parent of null pointer exception. So we need to have like the uh, parent
Okay.
to parent.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can we change the size of the array once created?
Array.
Yes.
No. Once initialized, you cannot actually change the array. If you use like array list, it will actually like execute in a dynamic array.
What is streams API?
Sorry.
What are the Java 8 features that are introduced newly?
In Java 8, we have actually introduced like stream,
Yes.
lambda
Okay. What is
operations.
streams then? What are streams?
Streams is basically like means that actually used in list. Basically, we have like predefined function to execute the list in a proper execute the list in a proper way. Let's say we have like map, we have like filters, we have like collectors. Uh,
Mhm. Okay, so what is flat map?
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay, so in Streams API, and so can you write some simple code? So basically, we have an integer array.
Okay,
Okay, so I want to filter out. So this array contains 1 to 10 numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, 10. So
okay,
I want to filter those numbers that are less than 5.
okay,
How would
fine.
I do that using Streams API?
Yeah, only like you have to do like list dot stream dot filter. Then you have like n then arrow.
It is
Uh,
not a list, it is integer array.
it's an integer array.
Yes.
Okay, then you need to have like you need to make that array as a list. After that, you can actually use like
No, I
stream.
want to do it with array only. There is a function for arrays also.
Okay, I actually never used in array. Uh,
Okay, so consider it a list.
yeah,
Then how
considering
do
considering it
yeah.
is a list, then we can actually directly list dot stream dot filter. Then we
Hmm.
have to use like n, then arrow n
Yes.
is less than 5, less than equal to 5,
Hmm.
and then we have to do dot collect. I think yeah, collect dot collect, then collectors dot to list dot to set, whatever.
Okay. So what is concurrent hash map?
Concurrent hash map is basically used in the multi-threaded environment
Hmm.
where it actually like means whenever two thread actually comes in, it actually locks the write feature and leaves out the read feature. Means you can means one thread, two thread can actually read, but uh, two thread doesn't actually write in a single time.
So how is it different from hash table?
Hash map actually means in the normal hash map, both the read and write features are not logged. So that is why we can actually have like concurrent modification exception. We can that can occur.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay. So okay. Suppose you are given a wait a second.
yeah.
So there is a statement: string temp is equal to within inverted commas a plus b plus c. Okay.
Okay.
So in this case means a is different, then plus, then b, then plus, then c, and a, b,
Okay.
c are within double inverted commas.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. So string temp is equal to a plus b plus c. So in this case, how many objects will be created in the memory?
String temp equal to a in a
Yeah.
in a inverted comma plus b plus
Plus
c
plus b in inverted comma
inverted
plus c
comma
in
plus c.
yeah.
Yeah. In that case, string as it is immutable, it will actually uh,
How many
create
objects will be created in this? String temp is equal to a plus b plus c.
generally you will get like string equal temp equal to abc, but it will actually store in the unreferenced as an unreferenced variable that ab and abc and that ab.
Hmm.
It will actually create like three instance, but you will get only one. Two are the unreferenced variable.
Hmm. With
Two
how many it will create?
uh, total is like three,
Huh.
and two is the two you will get as unreferenced, and one the temp is abc, which is like the referenced one.
Okay. So can we have a finally block without a catch block?
Without a catch block, yes, we can have.
Okay, so if there is a statement try, catch, and finally, there are three blocks.
Okay.
In try, we are returning 20. There is a statement return 20.
Okay.
In catch, there is return 30. And in finally, there is return 40. My program is working fine. So the try block will execute. So, right.
Okay.
Suppose the program is working fine. What will be the output? Means what will be returned from this one?
Whether you have like return statement in your try, it will actually execute the finally block. So it will actually return that finally, but I don't think that will actually means that is a good code. Since you are returning.
No, what will it return? So don't worry about good code or bad code. What will it return?
It
20,
will return
30 or 40?
40 means 40 from the finally block. It will return the 41.
Oh, okay. So how many experience do you have in Spring Boot?
Spring Boot, I have experience like 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. 2.5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 2.6 years of experience you have in Spring Boot. So have you done also worked on Spring MVC or other frameworks? Spring only, MVC?
No, not exactly.
Only
Like
Spring Boot.
Only Spring Boot I have used. Previously, we have like hybrids related thing that we are actually now breaking into microservice level.
Okay.
So we actually means first of all we did some POCs on Vertex as well, and after that we actually jumps onto means the Spring Boot only.
Okay. So what is the difference between Spring MVC and Spring Boot? Do you know?
I actually don't know much, but what I actually think about that Spring MVC actually like we have to configure each and everything manually, and also like we have like the XML features where we define like the beans and all. But in Spring Boot, just we are using like the annotations to create the beans, like @bean also @component to create those bean. Apart from that, we have like
Okay, so what is difference between REST controller and controller?
yeah, REST controller and controller is basically the difference is whenever you have like only controller, you need to when you are sending some Pojo or something to the as a response, you need to have like at the response body. You need to mention that up, but in REST controller you don't need to mention that. It actually comes in that enable auto configuration thing. It will just simply means create the response for you, means send back the response for you using like Jackson object mapper.
Yes.
It will
What is dispatcher servlet?
dispatcher servlet is like the front controller thing, means whenever the request actually comes in, it actually goes to that dispatcher servlet, and from that dispatcher servlet it actually goes to means where the request means in which REST controller the request mapping is it actually check for the request mapping, then it puts that request to that
So
REST controller.
the after receiving the HTTP request, right, dispatcher servlet gives it to someone. So who do it give to?
It actually comes in the REST controller, means
Okay,
after
REST controller.
REST
Okay.
controller.
Okay. So what is Spring Boot actuator?
Spring Boot actuator we have actually used like in that let's say we have using like what you can say a health API.
Okay.
Yeah, health
Uh,
API we have actually used on the Spring actuator. Also like there is some features like the beans and all we can actually get refresh we can get
how do you create your own custom annotation?
custom annotation.
Annotations you are aware of, right?
Yes.
Also, how do you create your own custom annotation? Okay. So why is the @auto add used?
Yeah, at the rate auto are actually used like for like the dependency injection. Means whenever you have let's say in the configuration
And why
file,
is at the rate qualifier used?
at the rate qualifier actually used for, let's say you have like one interface with the multiple implementation with the let's say multiple components are there. So in order to create means in order to auto something, you need to have like proper definition that what what component you want. So in that case the qualifier actually used just to
Okay,
mention that okay, this bean I am wanting.
okay. So why is at the rate controller advice used?
A controller advice we actually use for like, let's say for giving like custom exception as a response. So whenever there is something we are returning, means we are throwing from the controller. So when it actually goes to that controller advice, and in that controller advice we have like the method which is actually with annotate with exception handler.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
so we can actually directly check for that status code and all. Then
Have
we
you
can
also
create our
worked on microservice architecture?
microservice architecture. We have actually worked on.
For how many years?
It's around like 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. I mean, same as
Yeah,
Springboot, right?
same means we are actually means previous we are actually working for the same client. Okay, for like 5.5 years, and previously it was like the monolithic architecture we are having in the hybris, and
So, what
now
is the difference between monolithic architecture and microservice architecture?
monolithic architecture previously what we have like uh, that is the one whole application where we are actually developing our functionality, and also that is like the whole functionality. And microservices basically there is a small service that are running independently. They can actually talk to each other to do something valuable. But the monolithic architecture, that is like the whole architecture in a single unit, and that can be deployed in a different instance. But that is the whole architecture we are actually dealing with.
Okay.
Everything comes under one roof.
Okay. So, do you have any knowledge of integration or testing tool like JUnit, JBehav, Mockito,
Yes, yes,
etc.?
yes, 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 yes,
Which
yes.
one?
We actually use like JUnit, and also we have used for integration purpose. We have used like Spock testings as well.
Okay. So, okay, JUnit you have worked on.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you also worked on Jira?
Yes, yes. We create the stories in the Jira.
Okay. So, what are the databases that you have knowledge of?
Mainly the database I have means I have been working on, that is the NoSQL AWS DynamoDB. Apart from
Dynamo.
that, yeah.
Okay.
Apart from that, we have like the PostgreSQL, but that I have not much of a knowledge because uh,
Okay. So, why is DynamoDB or NoSQL What do you mean by NoSQL
NoSQL DB is basically like it's different for the different from RDBMS, where RDBMS actually we need to define as previously what are the columns do you want, and in that table. But in that NoSQL DB just follows with the document, where we just need to define one hash key and the one range key, and after that whatever attribute you need to add it, you can add it. There is no structure in it. Just add it and it will actually got saved
Okay, okay.
in a
So,
document feature, document manner.
yes, got it. So, I am done with your interview,
Oh,
and
okay.
you will have a Codapad prep session tomorrow for the next round, right?
Okay, okay.
So they'll send you a proper invite for
Okay.
this, okay, on your Gmail.
Okay.
So okay, so be sure to attend it. It's gonna be half an hour session. They'll just you prep you about what to do next and what are the things that you need to consider according to the next rounds.
Oh,
So
okay.
they'll tell you all those things. So the interview is over from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.